Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna talk about NV, Rain, and Fina. So let's go. Alright, so Rain and Fina NV are physical and magic damage dealers. They are two-handed physical and magic damage dealers. Their base form has fire physical attacks, and BS form has earth, fire, and light magic attacks. Also has a bit of healing kit there. They have high beast killers in both forms and can apply an AoE beast killer buff as well. Rain and Fina are the first tag units that can generate chains without use of another unit. Base form LB and BS form magic attacks are tag skills. So we'll break down each form, weaknesses, rotation, strengths, and how to build them. All right, let's go. So first, we're going to talk about their TMR. Rain and Fina NV TMR is called the No Matter How Far Apart We Are. That's a really long name. It boosts attack and mag by 30, boosts attack by 30 when equipped with a large sword, and boosts mag by 30 when equipped with a bow. Nothing fancy, but we can use it on both forms if we have nothing else better to equip. The only downside is that the conditional magic bonus applies only to bows rather than rods. The Brave Shift form really wants a high mag rod like Dark Gamba, but if you're forced to use on a bow, the Artemis bow is good, and also Draconian Princess's STMR is good. Next is their STMR. It's called the Sword Bow of Unbreakable Faith. Attack 184, mag 176. It's a two-handed weapon. Activate Desire to Protect the World, which boosts LB damage. The LB damage boost is 100%. Currently the highest LB damage in a weapon. Accuracy is 50% and variance is 1 to 1.6. So the STMR is best on slot on the base form, physical LB damage dealer, and boasts a whopping 100% LB damage passive. Has the highest LB damage passive on a weapon for now. One could argue that this is the main reason to pull for the unit, but I can't think of any LB damage dealers that wants a two-hand sword. Have a lot of LB damage swords, but they are one-handed, and Sora and Riku want to equip them. So I can't think of anyone else other than Rain and Fina that can use this sword. But tell me in the comments if you can think of anyone. Let's move on to the vision card. Vision card, it's called Thanks for Everything. It kind of looks, they got a different vision card in JP, so I can't really find an animation for the vision card. But this one is called Thanks for Everything. Level 1 attack mag 45 flat, and at level 10 the attack and mag is 80. Ability at level 4 is Thanks for Everything 1, boost attack by 40 when equipped with a large sword, boost mag by 40 when equipped with a bow. Same thing with level 7. And then last is Sincere Gratitude, boost fire and light resistance by 30. It has to be an FFBE unit. So has the highest hybrid flat stats for now on a vision card. The next step down is Eldrin's vision card. Not really the best for either of their forms. A dedicated vision card for attack, like Riku's vision card for the base form, and maybe Soul's vision card for the Brave Shift form would be better. And but it depends on which form you're going to stay on. If you're gonna stay on the physical side, use a physical VC. Magic side, magic VC. So a dedicated VC for attack, dedicated VC for mag would be better depending on which form you're going to stay on. Otherwise, it's a great vision card if you don't have anything better. Both forms can use it, so great value just from that. So large swords definitely, and bows for the Brave Shift form. Alright, so we're going to talk about the strengths of the base form, which is a physical form. LB damage is the means best means of attack in this form. Level up their LB to max. Use your LB pots wisely to deal the most amount of damage. Their LB self-chains, so you don't need to chain it with anything. It just self-chains. So it's called the Crimson Judgment. Not sure what it's called in global yet. Max level 40. It takes 50 crits. Grant tag attack for specific abilities for 1 turn to caster, which is this ability. Fire physical damage 120 to all enemies. Increase modifier 10% for infinite turns to caster. So that's Blaze Arrow Saber. That's his SR chaining attack. And also increase modifier 20 for infinity to Fina skills on the Brave Shift form. Alright, we'll talk about those later. So this this form can equip those weapons, but his best in slot is his own STMR. Alright, so moving on, they have 200% active LB damage boost skill and 100% LB damage passive. So the active LB damage skill is the Crimson Lotus. 5 turn cooldown, available on turn 1. Increase attack by 300 also for 3 turns to caster. And increase LB damage 200 for 3 turns to caster. Can't be dispelled. Also auto cast, increase LB gauge 50 to caster. And then next turn, increase LB gauge 50 to caster. So you can use your LB attack 2 turns in a row. And then the passive is you can definitely win. Increase LB damage by 100. Also increases physical and magic damage against beasts and humans 250 respectively. Alright, so you can also use the Crimson Lotus and then immediately shift to Brave Shift form and use the LB on the Brave Shift form. Alright. Next is they also have regular Stardust Ray and Absolute Mirror of Equity chains. So the Blaze Arrow Saber, if you use the LB before using it, it gains 10 more modifiers. So it does fire physical damage 3 times to 1 enemy, and then fire physical damage 69 times to 1 enemy. Stardust Ray. It doesn't self-chain though, so you need a chaining partner for this one. And next is the Spell Arrow. This is a shared ability. The other form can use this as well. Hybrid damage 100 times to all enemies. Remove all status effects from all enemies. Absolute Mirror of Equity. So it removes all status effects from enemy. So be careful using the skill if you don't want the debuffs to be removed. And then lastly is Lotus Saber. 4 turn cooldown, available on turn 4. Physical damage 10 times to 1 enemy. And then physical damage 130 to 1 enemy. Also Stardust Ray. This doesn't have an element. Right, so you can imbue this, but it's on a 4 turn cooldown. Okay, so they can imperil 3 different elements and self-imbue fire. So that's a base form. The self-imbue is limited to 3 uses, so you cannot use it infinitely. They can boost their fire damage by 15 for both physical and magic attacks. So name is Blaze Blood, 3 uses per battle. Unique selection and multicast, so it adds fire element to physical attacks for 3 turns to caster. Also increases fire physical damage 15% for 3 turns to caster, also for magic damage. And then next is the Union Veil, 5 turn cooldown, available on turn 1, increases LB gauge 10 to caster, and decreases fire, earth, and light resistance 124 4 turns to all enemies. So, alright. Next, lastly, they can boost fire resist for the party by 80%. They can also have access to an AoE physical and magical beast killer buff. That's 150%. So it's called the Blaze Veil. 5 turn cooldown, available on turn 1. Increase fire resistance 80% for 4 turns to all allies. Increase physical damage against beast 150 for 4 turns to all allies. And same with the magic damage against beast. They have 200% TDH and high beast killer passives. 200. They also do more damage to broken enemies, so that's the first time we saw that we've seen this passive. Increase physical damage against broken enemies by 70%. Base form has 200% passive attack. Decent bulk equipment attack is 200. So you only need Master of Fate from Cloud to cap it. Also does 200 more to beasts and 50% to humans. Increases LB damage by 100. Also has guts, but you need to equip the Trust Master reward or the STMR. Also has fire and earth resistance by 50. Resistant to blind, sleep, paralyze, confuse, and petrify 100%. LB gauge 5 turn per cast per turn. You also need the TMR or STMR. LB gauge fill 100% and MP refresh 7%. So let's talk about the weaknesses. Most obvious is the LB is fire lock. So if the enemy is resistant to fire, you cannot use Rain and Fina. And also Blaze Fire Saber is not a tag ability, so they would still need an SR chaining partner when they're not using their LB. So same thing with the Lotus Saber. So the SR skills are part of their rotation, so you would need somebody to SR chain with them. Luckily, there's a materia that does that, the Gusty Attack from the Chocobo Child. You can just use that, equip that on your support maybe, and they can chain with Rain and Fina. Alright, so how do we build this form? Build the base form for LB damage and cap through double hand with Master of Fate materia from NV Cloud or any other materia that can increase the TDH. You can also use their own STMR. LB damage materia includes but not limited to Guardian of Light, Sora, and Urge to move on. And then you can just place a killer materia there and you're good to go. They're really easy to build, and we're gonna find out if they're easy to use. Here is a base form sample rotation. Turn 1, you set up the Crimson Lotus, Blaze Veil, and Union Veil. So that's the LB damage buff, the fire boost, fire amp, and then the I forgot what the other one is. But next turns 2 and 3 is the LB. So you can LB right after you LB because of the auto casts for 50 LB Crysts. And then cooldown is turn 4, Blaze Arrow Saber. That's the SR skill. And Blaze Blood. That's the imbue, I think. And then turn 5, Blaze Arrow Saber again. And then Lotus Saber for the cooldown. So that's 344 mod there. And turn 6, repeat again. So that's really easy. Easy rotation. All you need is 4 turns of attack. Alright, but for turns 4 and 5 you need you need 2 casts of Stardust Ray Chains, right? But for turn 5 you need 3 for it to fully chain. So the Gusty Attack won't work. You really need a triple SR chainer for that one to get the full benefit. Alright, so let's go talk about the Brave Shift form, which is magical based. Duration is infinite turns, so once you shift to it, you're not forced to go back to the physical form. So before switching to Brave Shift form, use the Brave base forms LB at least once to boost the modifiers for this form. So remember, if you use the LB on base form, you get 20 more mods for the magic forms abilities. So it can equip, they can equip daggers, swords, great swords, rods, bows, and the rest. Note that they cannot equip a robe, so that will be a problem. But we'll talk about that later. I'll address that later. So here are the abilities that will benefit from the mod boost. Blaze Magia Tag is Grand Tag attack for specific abilities for 1 turn to caster. Blaze Magia Tag, fire magic damage 58 to 1 enemy, so it's a tag skill. Next is Earth Magia Tag. It's the same thing except for Earth. And then Shine Magia Tag This is for light. But it notice the first two abilities have a lower modifier than the last one. So essentially, this form is does its most damage with light. Right, so all their skills are part of their quadcast. Quadcast is unlocked by a cooldown ability, which also buffs magic by 300%. Also mitigates both damage types from beast enemies by 15%. So it's called the Beast Veil, 5-turn cooldown, available on turn 1. Mitigate physical damage against beasts, 15% for physical and magic damage. And also increase mag by 300 for 4 turns and enable skill for 5 turns. To caster Lotus Mag, yeah, that's a quadcast. So they have 200% MTDH and 100% mag passives. They also do more magic damage to broken enemies like the base form, and have high beast killers for both types of damage. So, alright, going through the list, magic damage against broken enemies is 70%. Also, they also have guts. You need the TMR. Also increases all element resistance 50%. So that's really good. Easy to gear for elemental resist. Increase resistance to blind, sleep, paralyze, confuse, and petrify. Increase LB gauge 5 per turn and recover MP 7% per turn. Alright, so here are additional attacks for the BS form. Shine Tag Saber, which is a 2-turn cooldown, available on turn 2. Grand Tag attack for specific abilities. So to this ability, increase LB gauge 10 to caster, light magic damage 10 to one enemy, light magic damage 80 to one enemy. So this is a tag skill. And next is the Shine Arrow Tag, 3 uses per battle. So this is the grandest ability. Grand Tag attack for this ability, light magic damage 130 to one enemy. Light physical damage and light magic damage of 15% for 4 turns. Tag, also a tag ability. Right, so they also have access to support and healing skills and magic. So first is the dual cast. They can cast magic 2 times except for blue magic. The LB is Judgment Nova. At max, it cures all status ailments to allies, revives all KO'd allies, recovers MP 300 to all allies, auto revive for 3 turns to all allies. Also increases fire, lightning, earth, and light resistance 80% for 3 turns for all allies. But like I mentioned before, in base form you can cast the auto LB and then immediately shift to on the next turn shift to Brave Shift form and then use the LB on that form. Also has access to Libra, Dispelga, Kuraja, Race, and Ray Race. All the important skills for support and healing. Alright, so what are the weaknesses for this form? Their earth and magic skills have very low mods compared to the light skill. Alright, so they are essentially soft locked to dealing light damage. Trust Master Reward and Vision Card doesn't have bonus mag when equipped with rods. So bonus will be less or halved if you are equipped with rods. So if you run them through the builder, they will like Dark Gamba. So they would need a different vision card. And then you cannot use the TMR on this form. BS form prefers high mag rod such as Dark Gamba. A high roll in item roll can compensate for the mag loss, however. Also, they can't equip robes, so you're gonna find it hard to find equip with high mag that is not a robe. So that would be Gold Business Armor. That's heavy armor with very high magic, or Aerithis clothes for high mag armor. Those are clothes. Also, Rebinasters Dancers clothing would also work. Or you can just use equip robes and equip your favorite robe, like the Minister's Coat from Sentoto. And lastly, it can only be door potted to 20 mag. Alright, so how do we build the BS form? Their BS form just wants high mag and MTDH, a fully maxed out Dark Gamatine to do well. They can also use Artemis Bow from the trial, or Draconian Princess's Pulse from Draconian Princess Fina. Note that they can equip heavy armor, so gold business armor comes to mind. As for MTDH materia, Azure Radiance from Starlight Elena and Warrior of the Crystal from Elena are great equips, or Corrupted Mage from Kefka. That's his STMR, by the way. Great Mage Kefka. Alright, so here is a sample rotation for the BS form. Turn 1, base, you do the setup. Turn 2, you LB, and then turn 3, instead of LBing again, you shift to Brave Shift form and do the following. Please Veil Shine Magia, and turn 4, Quadcast. Turn 5, Quadcast again. Turn 6, that's the Union Veil. And then turn 7, Quadcast again. Turn 8, you reapply the mag boost. And then turn 9, Quadcast again. Alright, so final thoughts on the unit. As our first tag units, they're pretty easy to use. Base forms rotation is easy, and gearing is not a problem. Their STMR is best in slot for the base form, so quite useful there. You don't need some other units STMR for them to work. Base form's LB is locked to fire, however, while BS form is sort of locked to light, so you're limited on those things. But if it's if it's resistant to fire, then just use the light. Resistance to light, use the fire. They have very high beast killer passives on both forms. Base form can buff said killer to the party, a lesser percentage, but still high at 150, right? Right, so BS form can serve as a decent healer for emergencies, with all the important support magic and dual cast. Also has AoE heal, AoE revive, AoE re-raise for the LB. So as for use in content, they could be useful for Scorn of the White Dragon, since it's weak to light, and Intanger, but we already beat those with our current units. I beat the White Dragon with Sora, I think, and then Intanger with Tifa. So there are also no hard Dark Vision bosses with a beast race in the foreseeable future. So not a must pull for content. Overall, I think they're great to players who need a physical or magic damage dealer and healer in one unit. They can tag attack as well, which further compresses their role. Their STMR could be one of the reasons to pull for them. Alright guys, let me know if I missed anything, if I made a mistake here or there. I hope this was helpful for you to decide if you want to pull for them or not, or if you want to pull on for Last Roll on Reagan on the next banner. As usual guys, sub to the channel so you won't miss out on any videos in the future that I will upload. Thanks again and have a nice day. Bye bye.